All right. This is my second. It looks like the audio's working. This is my second attempt at this. I did a whole long thing, and apparently my mic was not recording. So let's try this again. Hey, you folks. I'm Alan. If you know me, welcome back. If you don't, get comfortable. Today is Saturday, March 21, 2026, or at least it is for me, here in the Philippines. Um, couple of you I know are headed to the Philippines pretty shortly here, and this is kind of a neat moment for me. Before I came out to the Philippines, I watched a lot of videos about what it took to get here, what it was like being here, just do's and don'ts. And so this is a neat moment for me to get to make this and make sure that, I kind of pass some of that on, try to consolidate it in one place. So let me just run you through the bullet points and the numbers here. Before you even come out here, and I feel like this is super basic, but I need to touch it anyways, just check your passport, people. Make sure it's valid. I think you need to have something like six empty pages they want in the back of that passport. So just double check it, make sure it's valid. Something that has stressed me out in the past about coming out here is something called an e-travel. Now, for those of us who are from the US, our passport will let us come out here to the Philippines and we don't need a tourist visa. We just get to come out and enjoy 30 days here in this country, and that's amazing. However, 3 days before you come out here, you need to go either sign up or sign in with eTravel and let them know that you're coming. Similarly, 3 days out before you leave, you also sign back into eTravel and let them know you're on the way out. I think this is a holdover from COVID when they were monitoring traffic. So just be advised that that's true. If you try to sign in to tell them about your travel 4 days or more before travel, it's not going to let you do it. So for me, that my OCD makes me anxious about that, but nothing to do about it. So just be aware it's true. Make sure you keep your paperwork on you for your returning flight. Sometimes they ask me for that and sometimes they don't. If you're a known good traveler, like you've been here before and you've left, you've got the stamps on your passport, a lot of times they won't ask for the return. But just keep print out documentation of your return flight just in case, because they might and they're entitled to. If you're coming in internationally, you are probably coming in through the Manila airport. I really, really recommend folks get luggage with clamps, no zippers. Doesn't matter if you're, well, okay, especially for check-in, when you're losing sight of that luggage. Go with luggage with clamps, not zippers. Now, the reason for this is the bullet scam. Go ahead and feel free to Google check me on this. But this is a problem that comes up where they will use an object, usually a pen, to open up the zipper on your bag and slip in a bullet. Once they do that, they find the bullet and then they confiscate your stuff. Now, you can choose to fight it and you might even win, but anything that was in that luggage you are not going to get back for at least many, many months, because everything moves slow here. So I will leave a link down below. As for what I have used in the past, it's not sponsored, but just take a look at that and then get an idea of how you want to secure your luggage. Speaking of such things, money. Please don't wait till you get here to convert your currency. You're going to pay way too much. Just go to your bank, tell them, hey, here's my money, here's how much I want in pesos, and do that work before you come out here. They're going to want to give you 1,000 peso bills. See if you can also get them in 500s and 100 bills, because those are basically gold here. It's better to have the 100s and the 500s because sometimes, or even a lot of times, shops won't have change for a 1,000 peso bill. 1,000 pesos is like basically 20 bucks. So see if you can come here with 500s or 100s. If you don't, you're going to want to break a couple of those thousands into 500s and 100s pretty quickly, and then just keep them on you. They will be more useful than you think. You're going to want to have two, not one, but two travel cards, because one of them is going to fail. Promise. Um, it's just a good idea. Obviously, make sure that they know that you're traveling. Put a travel flag on them. Try to avoid using your debit card over here, and just keep those two cards handy. If you're going to be here for longer than a month, I really recommend getting a Wise card. And again, I'll drop a link below. Also not sponsored. Wise is useful if you're here for longer term because you can upload money from your bank to it, and then you can convert it digitally, and you can set up an auto conversion. So if you're waiting for the currency exchange to get to like 58 pesos to the dollar or 60 pesos to the dollar, the moment that happens, it'll see that you've got that auto conversion set up, and then it'll convert that chunk of money over for you. And that's, I have found to be cost saving and extraordinarily useful. Now, the Wise card is a debit card. You're going to be facing an international card fee when you use it here, which is around $4 to $5. So it's not something you're going to be using if you can help it, but it is great to have in your back pocket. Travel. Before, and again, this is all stuff you need to do, you should do before you come out here. Download the Grab app onto your phone. You will thank me later. Don't take a taxi unless you have no choice. With the Grab app, you can order food, you can order a car. More importantly, for transportation, you can see how much the cost of the travel is going to be before you get in the car. With taxis are a negotiation, folks, and there's no better way for me to say that. No politer way for me to say that, I should say. So if you find yourself in a position where you need to use a taxi, you need to make sure you can see the meter. If they have it covered, if they tell you the meter's broken, if for whatever reason they're obstinate about letting you see the meter, don't make a fuss, don't make a fight. Shouting and arguing isn't going to change anything. Just tell them, hey, this isn't going to work for me. And then you exit the vehicle and you find another one, and you keep looking until you find one with a working meter. It won't take very long. Everybody here wants your money. So just be aware that that's true. And especially with taxis, this is really where you want to make sure you have those smaller bills. Otherwise, you're going to wind up paying 1,000 pesos for a 600 peso ride, because they're all going to tell you the same thing. I don't have change for 1,000. So again, stick to the smaller bills. Use Grab anytime you can. Only use taxis if Grab is not available. Make sure you can see the meter. Oh yeah, and always carry coins for trikes. If you've never ridden in a trike in the Philippines, you're in for an experience. And if you're a bigger person like me, you're in for a cramped experience. Also, before you come out here, you're going to want to have some kind of traveling eSIM or an international calling plan set up on the phone. If you choose not to do either of those things, you are going to wind up purchasing a SIM either at the airport or shortly after you arrive here in the Philippines. And that can feel, or at least to me, it can feel really hectic and rushed. And that's massively annoying, at least for me. I would rather have that handled because there's other things that I want to focus on once I get here. And also, getting a SIM at the airport, you're going to wind up spending more money than you really need to. So just have that set up, because your phone is pretty much your everything here. And even if you have a traveling eSIM set up or an international service set up, restart your phone when you get here and give it 5 to 10 minutes to sync up. It's going to take a little bit of time. And then once it does, you should be fine. Lastly, bring Pepto tablets. Just bring some Pepto-Bismol or some Imodium. I would say 90% of the time that I'm here, I have no trouble. Granted, I've got a Johnson stomach, but most of the time I don't have trouble. However, if you are going to be here for any length of time, sooner or later, something is going to get you. I promise. And as Coach Kelly used to say, misery is optional. So it's up to you to decide how miserable you want to be during your stay here when something invariably gets a hold of your stomach and takes it sideways on you. Once you get here on the ground, okay, let me scroll up a little bit here so I can see all these. So the tap water here is not potable. All right, for the people in the back, the tap water here is not potable. Do not drink it. You're going to be drinking out of a water bottle for your entire stay here. I use it for brushing my teeth. I just don't want to take the chance. And so just be aware that that's true. Once you get a bottle of water, keep a travel bottle on you. You're going to be carrying that around pretty much everywhere. There are some places that'll say, they'll have signs. They'll say, "Oh yeah, you can drink the tap water here." No, sir, you cannot. No, ma'am. You go get that bottle of water and you treat your stomach kindly. And on a similar note, you do not assume that public bathrooms here have toilet paper. Like, I feel like anybody who's done any international traveling is already gonna be pretty aware of this, but have a travel roll with you, or you're gonna wind up with dealing with some anxious moments. And again, so the e-travel link for the Philippine government I'll leave below. The luggage I'll link below. Wise I'll link below. Boy, I think I mentioned a lot more stuff in my first take of this video, and I'm trying to remember what all of it was. I guess you have to figure it out when you get here. Anywho, the Philippines, I mean, it's a great place to visit. Your dollar goes really far here. Do yourself a favor and just learn a couple of Visaya words like good morning or thank you. Like just being able to say salamat, which is thank you to somebody. It helps. Folks here are pretty friendly, but they're very shy, especially about their English. Do not pick on people here about their English. Do not do it. Similarly, be very, very, very careful with your sarcasm. This is what I was trying to remember earlier. Sarcasm does not translate well here. And much like in other Asian countries, in the Philippines, there's this enormous culture around saving face. All right, so the friendly person who you're interacting with, if they are made to feel like you are intentionally embarrassing them or shaming them in public, which is how your sarcasm is going to translate, when that happens, you are going to find yourself in a very different interaction with that person. All right. So, and Chris Cupoletti, I'm talking to you here. Be careful with your sarcasm. All right, man. Other than that, you really got to try to find problems here in the Philippines. Try new food when you get here. Try out the trikes. And again, if you're a bigger person like me, it's going to be a compressed experience, but still fun. They don't really do seatbelts here unless you're in the shotgun seat, so be aware that that's true. And just try to be flexible. Like, you just have to be patient and flexible and be willing to think on your feet a bit while you're here. Do that, and a little Visaya or Tagalog, and you're going to have a great time while you're here. You really, really will. These people are just amazingly accommodating, incredibly compassionate, and enthusiastic and friendly. Like, I have strangers who will offer that, like, I'll walk around my block like shots, like they just hold up that's some glass that they're passing around. Shots, and it's alcohol. They're just having a good time Friday or Saturday night. I'm sure I'd probably enjoy that more if I was someone who drank, but I don't. But it's stuff like that, especially here. I don't know what the experience is like in Manila or Cebu, but here in the Davao area, like strangers will invite you to dinner with them if they see you eating alone at a restaurant. Like that's happened to me, man. That was crazy, and that's like normal here. People are just very, very accommodating. One of the things that I heard that really stuck out to me is you can tell you can tell if you're dealing with a Filipino recipe because it cooks for 10. I mean, it's awesome to me that folks who are in a developing country who have so little are so willing to share. It's very heartwarming. And it's something that, if you're coming over here for the first time, it might take you off guard. Like it took me off guard, um, especially coming from the US and just coming up the way I did, where selfishness was so weaponized. Like you needed it to survive. Coming here where there's so much community and there's such a sense of sharing it's still really hard for me to deal with, but it's cool, man. It's really cool. So if and when you come out here and visit, like take the time to really enjoy that and the culture, the people, the language, the food. Um, Try not to get into too much trouble because you don't. Philippine jails, not a good time. All right, I'm going to sign off. Hopefully, all the audio caught this time. So, take care. As always, be good to yourselves. Stay safe out there. I'll talk to you folks next time.